Hi, everyone. Welcome to the very first Female Influencer Roundtable. I am so excited about this. We have some dynamic women that we're going to be talking to you today. This is my very first one, but before we get started, I just wanted to share with you my vision of doing this. We are doing this on November 2nd, 2020, the day before the elections of the United States of America. And obviously, it's a very big deal, but I wanted to do this before the election. The results, of course, the election, mainly because there's been so much turmoil in our world. And I wanted to bring together a roundtable of female entrepreneurs and business owners and just have a real conversation, a conversation of hope, community, and connection. And so that is my intention, to really bring together leaders, women leaders, female leaders, because here's the thing that I've learned is that women not just are the leaders of their business, if they're entrepreneurs, but they are usually the leaders and the drivers of their families, their elders, if there's elders going on, such as that, the kids. And you're going to hear stories today of women that are badass business leaders, but are also dealing with all the different things that go along with family changes, different situations with elders and kids, and how they're still building six-figure businesses with potentially maybe having a kid next to him who's on Zoom all day at 7 years old. So you're going to hear true stories of behind the scenes of what women are really dealing with on a day-to-day basis in our new world. And so I brought together some dear friends of mine that I would call my besties, people that I love and honor and truly cherish. But I wanted to start with this story today because I believe in stories. This is a book called The Soul of Money, and it changed my entire life. The book is by Lynn Twist. Lynn Twist, her job in life was to go out and ask for money and for a nonprofit called the Hunger Project. That was her life. That's what she did for a living. And what's so great about this book is this beautiful story about the Hunger Project asked a question. They asked one question. What is the number one underutilized resource on the planet, in the universe, that if it was altered, if this one thing was altered, it would end world hunger? It's a really powerful question. Think about it. What is the number one underutilized resource that's on this planet that if altered, it would change humanity? And the answer they found is women. Women are the number one underutilized resource on the planet that if it was empowered, you don't have to tell a woman to feed her elders, to feed her children. And in third world countries, this is where microloans came about. We discovered that when we gave a microloan to a woman, even $500, who could create a basket, who could create anything, we then could teach her commerce. And then guess what? She made money, and then we didn't have to educate her that she needs to feed her children or feed her elders or take care of them. That's what women do. It's what we do. In times of crisis, it's who we are. And so I wanted to bring together this roundtable of dynamic women that are doing that in the background. I know each and every one of these girls personally in stories, and I just want to bring a connection of hope and community to the world. So I hope you enjoy this. So I'm a little new with doing live stream. We're doing live, by the way. We're here on Facebook, 3 different places. We're on Periscope, Twitch, as well as YouTube. So go check that out. So bear with me as I'm going to try to bring all these women on through this third-party software. We'll see what happens. Here we go. I'm going to keep just adding all of you. Okay, here we go. I think this is going to work. Is it going to work? Okay, you're all on. All right.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Wow. I'm so
Good morning, guys.
Yay. Oh, this is fun.
Hello.
So I'm going to introduce each one of them personally. You have some feedback. I think that might be you, Stacey or Narissa. Turn down your speaker, like what you can hear. So what I'm going to do is just introduce each one of these dynamic, beautiful ladies. And they are just good friends of mine, people that I work with. They're in my mastermind and just badasses all around. So the first one is Carrie Thomas Amar. Say hi, Carrie.
Hey, guys. How are you? So nice to meet you all.
Yes. And tell us your name of your business.
So my name of my business is Branding with Carrie. We do all things branding, helping you build your spectacular successes through branding.
Yes. And she's awesome. And she has created my new brand that's out there. I give her massive, massive cred. So thanks for that. Okay. So the next below her is Annabelle. Annabelle, say hey, girl.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Now tell everybody what you do.
I'm a copywriter. I run prosperamarketing.com, where I provide copywriting services for course creators online.
Absolutely. And she actually worked with me in my influencer growth formula and created that to happen. So thanks, Annabelle, for being here. And she is in Austin, Texas, down the street from me. And Carrie, you're in Atlanta, yeah? Sweet. Awesome. And then Miss Riss. Miss Riss, how are you, girl?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me this morning. And so nice to see you, lovely ladies. My name is Narissa Sue, and I'm a breakthrough facilitator and breathwork coach. So I work with high-performing women, primarily women executives that are looking to break through to the next level of their success.
Absolutely. And where are you calling in from today?
I'm in Seattle, Washington today. So it's a bit chilly, but the sun is out. So
nice. Wonderful. And I've worked with her on my massive breakthroughs and overcoming fear and overcoming a lot of different things. And she has been phenomenal and a dear friend. Thanks, babe. Stacy, what's up, Canadian girl?
Hello. Hey, I'm American. I'm just live half of the time in Canada.
In Canada, you're representing international today.
Well, I'm here in New Hampshire on Lake Winnipesaukee. So
nice. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So tell everybody what you do.
Well, my name is Stacy Hyman. I am a business coach, marketing strategist, author, and speaker, and I help high-achieving entrepreneurs add another zero to their business. So whether that's going from 6 to 7 figures, I've helped clients go from 6 to 8 figures, but without the hustle. So without the hustle and burnout is important.
Absolutely. And Stacy and I met a long, long time ago. I think it was 15 or 20 years ago. So it's been
a long time ago when there were like 2 people at a marketing conference for women. I think there were like maybe 4 of us there.
Right.
So it was really easy to find ourselves.
It was.
Let's talk to you.
We tried to figure out how we met. It was just like going back into the ethers of that's a long time ago. So I've known Stacey a long time. You're a badass, of course. And so what I'm going to be doing and how we're going to create this is I'm going to start with a quote and then start with just a question and just kind of do a round table. And I'll let you guys, ladies, know who's next kind of thing. That way we can do that. So I wanted to start off with a quote. And it's a quote by Ben Franklin. I love this. Increase in me that wisdom which discovers my truest interest. Strengthen my resolution to perform that which wisdom dictates. When I hear that from Ben Franklin, I hear higher self. I hear, please ask. It's kind of like asking the universe, help me kind of tap into that own wisdom of life. And I think that's a really important piece as we kind of move through this conversation about what's happened really since March 2020. Now, we all have businesses and they're all online and offline, and we've all had to go through massive changes. So what I want to do is start with this conversation. What has been the one big thing in your life, business, or just relationships that's changed since March 2020? So I'm going to start with you, Miss Carrie. I know you're going to love this one. So let's go with you.
So for me, it's funny because she's actually sitting right here. My 7-year-old niece. Since March, she's been literally here Monday through Friday doing homeschooling. So I'm homeschooling her, and she's 7, so she's in 2nd grade. So you always deal with they're not like at 2nd grade, they still don't have the independence to do stuff on their own, even though she tries. Right. Anywhere else, she's I'm a big kid, but in school she's here she comes. She's about to try to go. Sit down. Yeah. She's looking don't talk about me.
I'm not trying to come.
She knows. She's that's Heather.
Hey, girl. So what has that been like to start your business? Because you just started this new business within the last 12 to 15 months. How was it to say, oh my gosh, now I'm going to be building a business and being a homeschooler teacher?
Oh my God. it's definitely like that decision that you have to have. It was definitely a mental decision. Like I could have been like, no, I'll just focus on being a homeschooling auntie. But then I was like, I really want this. Like, I know I can make an impact. So for me to be able to make an impact, I know I'm going to have to put in that extra time and effort. So like literally when she's out of school, like I get to work. And like sometimes like I'll be working late at night because I'm like, I still want to make sure she still has like all the things she needs to be successful. And I want to give her 100%, but I also want to give my business 100%.
I don't have to go to school.
So one of the things I noticed when I was
that, so you have all the time.
She said, "I don't go to."
I'll mute you first. I just mute you for a second. But what I noticed in working with Carrie one time, we were working together, and I said, "Why is it you're only available at night?" I just thought, I don't know. I just thought maybe she had a day job or something. And then she explained it to me, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. And so then she allowed me to have I'll share this story. She allowed me to have a conversation with her during the day one time. And what I thought was fascinating was how her niece she said she was overhearing me make deals. She's overhearing me sell. She's overhearing me present myself and selling and closing deals. And I thought, what an amazing opportunity for a 7-year-old little girl. I don't know how that would have impacted me if I saw my mom or, my parent guardian selling and promoting themselves. So I just kind of want to give you the floor a little bit on like, what has that been like for you to be that role model for her?
I think for her, like, it's funny because like, she's like, my auntie makes money. like she has a whole little dance move. I couldn't have it in the video. Like there's a whole video that she does. She's like, my auntie making money. My auntie. And I think for her, like she gets excited because she's like, oh, auntie, like I'm popping up.
She's dancing. I think that's a really great role model that you're creating for her to to see her aunt making money and being a support for her. I think that's a huge shift, right? And that goes back to that book of Lynn Twist. We don't have to try to teach women to pick up the slack, right? Like this needs to happen. I don't have to choose either or. I'm going to be a great aunt and take care of my 7-year-old niece because some other people can't right now. And I'm going to be a great business owner. I mean, that takes a kind of level of being a woman. And it's so funny is that I didn't even know that about you until like a month or two in. And I keep trying to call you during the day. You're like, girl, I cannot talk during the day. I'm like,
because I tell people, like, it's funny. I tell people, it's like, only certain people can deal with it because like she can be a lot, like she can jump in and be a lot. So I'm like, do you want to do while niece is in school or do you want to do when she gets out of school?
Right.
And they're like, okay, I think I can deal with it. And then they'll be like, no, I'll talk to you at 3. I was like, all right.
That's funny. Well, I want to acknowledge you for that and acknowledge you for you going through the change of just saying, I just got to do what I got to do and take care of her and take care of business and take care of like all of it. And then just really quickly, just world of changes. Where's your husband?
Oh, so my husband right now is stuck in Nigeria. So during the COVID situation, he got stuck in Nigeria. And then now because of like all the election things, now he's like going to be probably stuck for longer. So we're just like, it's definitely, this year has been definitely one of those things where I was like, Carrie, just grind through. Like, by the end of this year, like you'll be like, this is what we accomplished. This will help us set us up for later and things like that. And like Cherie, she'll be like, when's Uncle Emmanuel coming home?
Yeah, but it's really powerful. It's really powerful to see. She's cute. It's really powerful though to see a woman like yourself to say, this is just what's going on and I'm going to power through it. And I think that is a testimony for other women who are going through just whatever they have to go through, like husband stuck in Nigeria because of COVID and now 7-year-old niece because of other situation in family. You're the one, and I find it so powerful when I hear stories like that because you never shared that with me. I'm the one that dug. I'm like, and then you're like all this stuff going on and you're just this amazing, brilliant person. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that and just say, this is what this is about. Because I hope that someone could hear your story and go, if she can do it, I can do it. Right. as a powerful woman. So thank you, sweetheart. Mwah. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to go to Miss Annabelle.
Thank you.
Miss Annabelle, gorgeous darling who lives nearby. So what has changed for you since March 2020?
I would say I'm definitely more singular focused now because I have to be. So one of the things that I loved doing that I haven't done since the pandemic, came about was I'd go out dancing, and I would go out and I'd meet people and I would network, and all of a sudden we're living in a reality where we're pretty isolated, right? Or you stick to a small group of folks. So what did that do for me? One, it opened up this time that previously I had booked either for self-care or for networking. And now I have that time back to myself, right? And what do I want to do with that? So for me, COVID in many ways has accelerated my business because it's allowed me to really clear my thoughts and figure out what is that next step for my business. And that's been amazing. That's been absolutely amazing. I know that's not the same for everybody, but it's been a breakthrough for me in my business.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've been hearing in conversations, a lot of people just in general, is COVID took off so many things off the table that it did give us clarity and just give you clarity. And you've had a rocket year. I mean, you've had a rocket year of your copywriting, which you completely deserve. And you just keep getting more and more clients, and your goals and financially are just massively successful, which is like huge. Yeah, but I think that is a testament that sometimes things like this can happen, and it may look like bad or wrong or challenging, and it could end up being the best thing that has happened for us, right? It happened for me too. I was similar. I was dancing. I had whole thing going on. I had yoga on this day. I had like whole schedule of all these different outside things. And once all that's taken out, you all of a sudden get really clear on your mission and your goal and what you want, because what else is there in front of you? Like all these distractions almost get taken out. And I think even with Carrie is like, even with you, it's like you got a lot of distraction, but it did give you this sentiment of like, this is my goal now. You have a bigger why, than just having a business, And
I would also like to add though too, one thing is distraction in terms of this has nothing to do with me, but it's important to recharge, right? And now what I do to recharge, instead of having it be so socially facing, it's really inward facing, right? I'll go for a run, I'll go for a walk. It's still that recharge that I needed, but it's not taking my mind elsewhere. It's really taking my mind inside,
right?
Which is a huge transition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I think there's a lot more people outside. You and I live near Town Lake, and it's packed. All the time. It's like, holy cow, all the gyms they're open, but they're not as open as we want them to be. So that's really true. Well, congratulations on your massive success. Congratulations on your massive success. And it just really is testament that once you get clear on your goals, you can like really explode. So congrats. All right, I'm going to pass real quick to Stacy because I want to do this round robin real quick. Stace.
Yes.
Okay, so you have been going back and forth between the States and Canada and getting stuck in Canada. So what is something that's majorly been the biggest thing that's changed since March 2020, other than a dog?
Yes, we got a COVID puppy, which is like, oh my gosh, he's hysterical. Well, I think it's really, I used to travel all the time. So I used to be between Montreal and Lake Winnipesaukee like all the time. We were stuck, at home for several months. And then I ended up coming to the lake for months at a time instead of going back and forth, which was nice. And I'm back here again for another month and a little bit. But I think that I think the biggest change is not traveling. So for example, I used to host my mastermind. I was thinking about that this morning. Like I was in Arizona last year at this time hosting my mastermind. I used to attend mastermind. So I think it's that going all over for my business is the biggest change for me. And, and now I have the kids, my daughter's homeschooling, my daughter graduated from high school and now she's doing college from home as well. So it's funny because you're saying like more space and I'm like, where is this white space that everyone is talking about? There is no white space. There's people in my house everywhere.
7 days a week with a puppy that's very rambunctious.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is something in the world of your mindset? Has it changed at all? Has it become more intensity with your business? Like you just had a huge summit. Has it changed? Are you surprised by any changes?
Yeah, I think at the beginning it was, nobody had any clue what was going to happen, right? And, I lost clients at the beginning because a lot of my clients were speakers and their whole entire year just fell off the calendar. Then there was the social unrest part that came in, and it was like there's so many things going on in the world right now that it's like we have to be intentional with our time and see how we're making the world a better place also. Being very conscious in how we're building our businesses. I found that, the Rapid Profit Booster was an example of that. I had done the Rapid Profit Booster event back in 2009 when the economy crashed. And I was working with Tony Robbins at the time. And he was saying, like, how can you be a resource for your clients? So I think that's really the headspace I've really shifted into, is saying, okay, how can I be a resource for my client? How can I help them get better results even than before? And then having the summit, the Rapid Profit Booster Summit, was helping everybody, like really making it a bigger thing that more people, it was all free. It was all top experts that gave 100%. And it's like, instead of saying, oh, there's all these things going on and you can't grow your business, what if you shifted, instead of saying, this is the reason why, if you said, okay, what can we do? What can I do? What can I do? And all my experts shared what you can do.
Yeah. And I was in that summit and I just love the conversation of how can you help? Right. That's what this whole thing is about, this roundtable, right? It's like, how can we add value? And by sharing our stories and how it came about, I want to give her credit. She's not here. She's in law. Is that 2 weeks ago, I got an invitation by her to do a girls' night out at the Four Seasons. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I get to go out. I get to go out. I was so excited. And I get to wear a dress and like, it was like,
shoes.
Right. Shoes. It was amazing. And so it was about 10 girls and I just had a great time. But what she did is she went around the table. It was a more private setting, of course, and just had everyone share, like, what are some big challenges that they're going through. And it helped me. It helped me so much because I felt like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like, I'm not the only one going through massive changes and massive re-altering of mindset. And, it just gave me this, sisters, and that's where this idea came from, is I just wish that there were so many other people could listen into that conversation, because just listening to other people going through what they're, not always negative, just like a new move and a total change of a business and a new book, or, oh, we ended this business, now we created the new one, like all these just different things, change. And I just got really moved by it. And I was like, God, I wish I could do that, with all my sisters that are on here, maybe at the Four Seasons, maybe we could do that pre-COVID or after COVID. So I just wanted to create that, right? So I love that. Okay, I'm going to, Riss, I'm going to move to you because you're in Seattle and I want to move that. Stacey, you rock. So I just want, like, Riss, I want you to like share with, and you're in Seattle and you don't live there. You're in, she went away and Riss is now gone. Uh-oh. Riss, you're gone. Okay. Well,
I'm back. There she is.
It's okay. So, Riss, you're in Seattle, but you don't live there. Why don't you share with us what are some big things that have changed in your world since March 2020?
Oh my gosh, I feel like there's just been a huge shift for sure. And I love that quote that you started with regarding, wisdom and knowledge, because I think that it kind of encompasses the whole 2020 for me. Because I think, as an energy healer and a breathwork coach and breakthrough facilitator, I've studied a lot of meditation and, things that help executives and entrepreneurs, but just, women in general is who I work with, deal with anxiety and depression. And I think that that's been the biggest thing in 2020 that I've heard from all of my clients universally and friends, is just, how do we deal with the anxiety and depression that's come with this COVID, pandemic? And the difference between knowledge and wisdom is, we all know what to do. right? We all know what to do. The women that I work with, they're on top of their game. They do a lot of great self-care practices, but it's like, when do we put that knowledge into practice? And that's really where our wisdom comes in as women, is saying, okay, I have all these tools and now I get to use them. Now I get to implement them into my life. Because before, when I didn't have time, now all of a sudden we have time, right? And we have time, and we have more anxiety, depression, stress, and pressure. So for me, I think the biggest difference is just, helping women, making myself available as a resource to really help people move through those emotions quickly and easily so they can get back to business. Because I know so many amazing women, all of this company included, that are out there grinding and making things happen and really, shining out in the world and growing their businesses, but helping people. And as women, the more we put ourselves out there to help others, we have to make ourselves and our self-care a priority. It was really, actually really funny, because I was talking to my son this morning and he's like, Mommy, do you take good care of yourself? And I'm like, yes, I take the best care of myself because I love you and I want to be here a long time for you. So, it's remembering that, we can take care of all these other people, our businesses, our friends, our family, our elders, and each other, but we have to take care of ourselves first. So, everything that I've done over the last year has been to just boost my reach to help more, women and people in general. I do work with some men as well that reach out to me to help them really feel in control of their emotional state and help manage that anxiety, depression, and just feel really good, because we have to, make our feeling good and our wellness, our immunity in our body a priority right now.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned from you is when I met you and doing breath work, and I highly recommend anybody who is interested in doing breath work. When I first met her doing breath work, I thought unto myself, this is weird. I didn't explain it.
It is weird.
It is weird. But what I learned is once you taught me the structure. I can't tell you how many times, especially in the last week, I had a crazy week last week. A lot of things just came at me really fast and just unknowns, like, whoa, and a few times I just had to take a minute and go through the breath work to get back into my body and relax and just like lean back a little bit and not always go in the logic brain. And that's something you've given me permission to do in working with you specifically. And one of the things I've noticed for myself is that the women in my life have really changed and altered since March. I call it BC, before COVID, BC and AC. So BC COVID and AC COVID, my relationships have altered, the vibration has altered, but I feel like the women have really started to kind of step up in all different kinds of roles and things like that. They've become this gap. They've stepped into this kind of gap of needed nurturing and needing to just relax and kind of just tap back into our bodies with all the different energies going on in the universe that are just massively changing. And it's been nice to, it's been nice to move out of the head space. And I feel like this BC, or after March 2020, has given us all permission to talk about, for at least for myself, permission to talk about the energy that's happening on the planet. And there is this massive change and everyone's going through it. I don't know one person that's not going through some kind of massive change. And that could be an end of a marriage. That could be just a massive move. That could be a new relationship or a new business or an ending of a business. Like there's this huge, massive change. And for the first time in my life, just having new types of women friends, I've been able to talk about the energy field and the different changes and being able to be okay with that, right? Because people don't know me as a healer or anything like that. So it's been nice. And I love your work as the lioness method. It's beautiful. And I have to just say, you're overstepping that you have a son that is woo! And
oh my gosh, he's so high energy, so much energy.
Yes. And I just want to acknowledge you for that because, there's a lot of changes going on with that. You live in LA. LA is not open, right? And you've had to completely re-alter your world for homeschooling, and you have, and you just kind of like float it out. And I find that really fascinating. Empowering.
Thank you. No, it's been a lot of adjusting for us. I think we spend a lot of time outdoors in nature with hiking, and he likes to skate, and we're just outside a lot. Thankfully, we live in California, so we're able to do that, because I know in other states it's actually snowing right now. So, we're very blessed that way.
Yeah.
But I love what you said about the divine feminine. I just have one more point to say about that, and just talking about how women are really stepping into their leadership. And we spend a lot of time as women focusing on relationships with men, with friends, with family, just all the things I mentioned. But right now, this feminine energy, this feminine rising, this transition that's happening in the world is all about us learning to have a relationship with ourselves. And when we learn how to have a powerful relationship with ourselves and really develop our own strength within, and pull that out, it actually flows into every other area of our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your relationships with other people get stronger, your finances start to grow, like it's a career, your health gets better, right? So it's all coming back to that self-love and that divine feminine energy. And so much of what I do in the Lioness method with the breakthrough program that I do, and the breath work, is just all about putting people back into their body and having them really feel back in their flow, their creative flow, and their energetic flow. So that really does create a flow through all areas again of their life. And that's what I really think this big transition is all about too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to have this today. I'm going to move into this next piece. I wanted to have this today on November 2nd. So thanks again for being so fast and saying yes, is that I wanted to have this conversation before, the second. I wanted to have it before the election day ends and all the stuff that may or may not occur, whatever happens. And I just wanted to have a conversation that we don't have to, I don't know about you, but I know myself, and most of you are empathetic, empathic, and that you can feel, right, all the stuff happening. I know for myself that I do. And it's so easy to tap into the drama, the fear, the craziness, and then you have to consciously unrelease that. And that breath work has really helped me. And like I said, I was sitting there with Shannon Law and all those girlfriends, and each one of them are empathic, and each one talked about all the different things they've had to do, self-care, to basically disconnect from the craziness, or I just call it fear-based, whatever you want to call it, the thing. And how they've had to kind of go way more internal, like Annabelle said. She's like, oh, I'm doing all these things internal versus external now. That's why I keep hearing and over again. So I want to ask another question. My question is mentorship. So during this time, what are your role models? I'll go in the group. What are your role models? And then who are people that you've mentored? Some might be clients, but maybe just someone you've taken under your wing and you don't even know it, right? So obviously Carrie has a 7-year-old she's mentoring and she doesn't even know it. But this is the question, and I want to start with a quote from Barbara Walters. Baba Walters. I love her. Baba Walters. To feel valued, to know, even if only once in a while, that you can do a job well, is an absolute marvelous feeling. Yeah, I love that. So I'll go back around. See, Annabelle, I'll start with you. Annabelle, what is maybe someone you've mentored or unconsciously or consciously during this time, or maybe what is a role model that you've started to tap into in the last couple of months, BC, or after COVID?
After COVID. Gosh, I'll start with the mentor first. Well, first of all, I've definitely been channeling you. I've always looked up to the fact that you are just so out there with who you are and your authenticity, and that's your platform. You empower women, you empower business owners, but especially women who are in business to do that for themselves. So I'm honored to be here, but also having worked with you for the last couple of years, and now, masterminding with you and helping you build something that's it's really a legacy play. That has been amazing to work on.
Thanks.
The other person who actually you and I talked about her, you haven't met her yet, but her name is Tanya, and she's been a mentor of mine for a while now. But one thing that I've noticed about her, she's a green architect. She always takes on projects to develop green hotels, basically. And she's got this project that for the first time is her own, where she's not taking other people's development money. It's her own. And she's got one business partner, and she's building this paradise in Tulum. And all the while, she's raising a daughter. Her daughter is 7 months old now. And to be able to show somebody, such a young soul, right, of just always being able to go after your dreams, always building what is yours. And she wants this child to grow up just being a woman warrior, basically, and traveling the world and being in touch with the fact that you can create your own life. You don't have to play by the rules. I've just really enjoyed watching that project take life and watching her create, a human too in this time, and really mold her thinking along with the business project as well. So those are two women that I'm tapping into, you and Miss Tanya. And in terms of me mentoring someone, this is really a bridge point for me, because I've always felt like I was the young one getting mentored, right? And I'm now stepping into a place in my career where I do have people asking me questions, and where I am starting to take on the role of being an expert. And I think that's a big transition that you have to make for yourself. You can always be, and you will always be, a student for life, but you can always have confidence in what you've learned, and just, start to share those lessons and show the path to others who are interested.
Absolutely. You deserve it, because you're doing well, and you deserve that. So congratulations. But yeah, there's something that happens, as someone told me, you first receive, and you learn, but you actually start really learning when you start teaching, right? Yeah. When you become the student, becomes the teacher, right? And the teacher becomes the mentor. That's when you start to actually go, wow, I know a lot, and you only need to be one step ahead of somebody to be able to mentor and teach. I think that's really powerful. And I always have a vision of like an 8-year-old, teaching their 5-year-old brother or sister how to tie a shoe. Like something so simple. It's like, I got you. I know this one, and that's what mentorship is. And I think what I see right now, because we've been told whatever, the isolation, what's great is like you and I go running, we go walking around. Well, you go run, I walk Town Lake. And I love that. I love just having conversations, and that gets me out of my own head and gets me out of stuff, and just reminds me of that we're here to all learn and to all give and to all support each other. And no one's ahead of anybody, and I just love that. So thank you for the kind words. I'll give you money later. I'm just kidding. That's enough. I was like a tear up. I was crying. So Miss Carrie, we all know yours, but I'm going to say this real quick, because it's a really great quote by Helen Keller. Keep your face to the sunshine, and you cannot see the shadow. I love that. So Miss Carrie, who are you mentoring, and who is your mentor right now?
I would say that people I'm mentoring, it would definitely be my niece, and then my oldest nephew. He's 11. So it's funny, because he's on his computer. He's like, Auntie, he was like, so you do all your work on your computer? He was like, you make money from home? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I want to do that one day. Just so you just sit at home and make money? And I'm like, yeah, I talk to people. But he was like, so he's fascinated with that. Cool. And then I would say my mentors.
Can you be quiet?
And she is your mentor.
That one is a mess. She's a mess. I would say my mentors would be, I have a couple, and it's very interesting. So I feel like 2020 was definitely year for me to really step into my own, not only in business, but really me as a person. So my first mentor actually was one of my clients. And you know her, Britta Tabora. She's actually one of my clients. And she just has this energy about herself. and this confidence that just like exudes. And like, even though like I'm trying to help her like build her brand, like I'm just watching her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to be like, I want to have that like that confidence just like coming out of me. And like she really helped me like with her mission is helping you become who's and who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And like literally all this year has been like on that push to be like becoming like the truest version of myself. The next person I would say would have to be Cassie Brown, because she was the one that kind of helped me get focused. So she's like my business coach. Like she helped me get focused, and that was one of the things that like I didn't see. And then I would say the next one, I would say it's like a twofer. Well, it's a threefer. I would say altogether, Lindsay Mustaine, Becky North, and Heather Havenwood.
Oh my God, we gotta stop. I'm gonna like start crying. Thank you.
And the thing is, like, the reason the one thing about Heather was like I like everybody else I kind of met. Like I met everybody and like we talked face to face. We haven't met. And then the fact of like when I met you, you believed in me, and like it was nothing that I get. Like she just saw me. She's like, "Here, you're great," and I'm like, "I am." Like, because I was in that moment, I was like, "Really?" She was like, "No, like this is amazing," and I'm just like, "Really?" Mm-hmm. And then like so all these people kept telling me that, and like for me, like I was just like I wasn't ready to like step into it. Like I was still like at that moment of like me trying to figure out who I wanted to be. So like when Heather, she was like with somebody who didn't know me, who was not in my circle, who was like, "No, Carrie, you're great." I was like, well, maybe I am great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a statement. Yeah, well,
you are.
And Think and Grow Rich.
Yes, you are.
There's a statement Think and Grow Rich that talks about that the moment, all it takes is one person to believe in you, and sometimes having them hold the space for that, then you can own it, right? So sometimes it's a loved one, sometimes it's a spouse, but sometimes it's just someone else, right? So, and that's you are good. I mean, that was not forced. You are really good. And so I feel like other people have done that for me. Other people have seen, Heather, you're great. And I'm like, psh. But I had to allow them to hold that space, and then I could step into it. And I think that's what I think is a huge missing with women entrepreneurs personally. And that's one of my goals for 2020 was to really create a space where people could empower each other, but also see their greatness inside of that. I did that with Annabelle, like right when I first hired her, I'm like, she's good. She saw my voice, she got my voice, and I empowered her in for that moment. So that's a gift, right? But that's because honestly, Carrie, that's only because someone gave that to me. Someone gave me that gift.
And the thing is, like, for so long, like, when anybody else told me I was great, like, in the back of my head, I was like, because they know me, they think this. Like, it was like, because they like me. So that was what was always in the back of my head. So when I met Heather, and she was like, she didn't know me. She had nuts. Like, she could have definitely said, Carrie, you suck, and, like, walked away. So when she said that, I was like, well, she has no ties to me. Like, she can care less, like, how my, like, if she hurts my feelings or not. So for her to say that with no ties, I was like, okay, this is different.
Yeah. But and just in the world of giving and receiving, it's only because someone's given that to me, a stranger, and now that person's a dear friend. And I remember when they gave it to me, of like, you're great. And I'm like, what you need, what you want, and I had to really get over the fact that this person just sees something in me that I don't, but I want to be it, and that's what this whole roundtable is about, is that if someone gave that to you, then it's time hopefully you give that. And I know you're giving that to somebody else already. You're giving that to so many people, but that's what it's about. That's what this roundtable, I think, is so much about, is hopefully someone's watching us going, yeah, I am great, and I can own that, and I can get that to someone else. You are great.
And it's so funny that you say that about giving it to somebody else, because that's what Carrottober was all about. Yeah. Like that's really what it was about. I was like, I want to highlight people who like I care about, who are doing these amazing things in the world. And I was like, I met Stacy, like we met a while ago, but like we really, and I was like, oh my gosh, Stacy's so amazing. I gotta like put her in Carrottober. Like I was like, I had to put Heather in Carrottober. I was like, put everybody in Carrottober, who I think is so amazing, was for that reason, because I was like, it came from like, I know that feeling. I was like, if I could give that to more people, like it's a win.
I love that. Well, thank you for being a mentor to others, and I really love that. And that's awesome. Thanks, sweetie. Miss Stace, I'm going to keep on this conversation of mentorship because I think it's really powerful. But I want to add a quote, and this is a woman by the name of Karen Horney. Great name. Anyway, Karen Horney, she's a German psychologist, and the quote is
even better.
Right? German and horny. We're good. So,
psychologist.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, okay. So concern should drive us into action, not into depression. I'm going to say that again. Concern should drive us into action, not into depression. The reason why that quote pulled me was just because there's been a lot of talk about how depression's gone up and things like that, and suicide, and in the last 10 months, 12 months. So I just wanted to ask you, Stace, I know you have clients that you mentor, but what are some people that you've mentored or they've mentored you in the last 10 months?
Yeah. So for me, my mentor is Susan Hyatt, and she has been really, really influential in my life because there's several things about her that, first of all, like, she's very conscious of her energy, who she works with, and all of that. And she's also conscious of how she designs her life. So she's able to have a multi-million-dollar business without the hustle, which is, I'm done working with coaches that are like, okay, you only have to work, 100 hours a week to get this, like, that's not what I'm about. And so that was really good. The other thing that there's two other things I love about her. The thing is that she's really taking a stand to be anti-racist with her business. And that's really inspired me to be anti-racist with my business, as opposed to just like in my personal life. And so like, even like I have a Facebook group, Optimize Your Business in Your Life. And so it's like, before anybody comes in the group, I'm checking out their profiles because I want it to be a safe space, for people of color and, transgender, whoever is in there. I want them to not be other people that have hate speech on their Facebook wall coming into this space. So that's really inspired me to take action on that. And then the other thing is that she's the kind of person that she's like scrappy do, like she's like, you're just going to figure out a way. Like, if this doesn't work, you're going to go this way. And so like, she's the kind of person that she'll be like, you know what, you just don't give up, you figure it out. And so I think with 2020 energy of like, okay, the year that I had planned, it didn't happen, right? So how can we figure this out to make it get me in the direction that I want to go?
That's with everyone.
So that's been, yeah, exactly. But she's been really like that energy of like, you can't, when you said that quote of like, you can't feel sorry for yourself, you have to take action, and so she's that person of like, yeah, things could be depressing or upsetting or whatever, you have to keep going. And for me, I think, one of the things that happened when I've always had coaches since I've been coaching for 20 years now, is one of my coaches said, what you need is somebody that believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. And so that's where, like, I think that's the gift that I can give people. It's funny because a lot of my clients, they are super high achievers, right? They're making 6, 7, 8 figures and they feel like they're an underachiever, right? So like everybody else looks at them and says, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing, right? And they're like, yeah, but if you knew what was inside me and all that I want to achieve, this is just a little tiny fraction of it. So that's where I think, the people that I'm mentoring, it's like, I see that in them and I see like, you know what, you're not done yet, even though you're already at this level that everybody else sees is really high. Like, there's still more for you. Let's go for that more that you want, because if you want it, you can have it. I mean, it's funny because I'm sitting here in my lake house and we just built this. This is our first year in the house. And, my husband's like, don't tell anybody we have a lake house, right? He's like, and then now people know that we have a lake house, and he's like, yeah, but they think it's just like a little cottage, and like, for me, it's like, I found that people have been inspired by us having the lake house. I know 2 people that have gotten their lake houses since this. They're like, Stacey, you've inspired me with the vision of what's possible for your family, because I was really intentional about creating this as like, this is a space that my kids can come, they can bring their kids when I have grandchildren. Like, I'm seeing that for myself, and other people saw that and they're like, you know what? I want that for my family too.
Yeah,
So
we want
that's
to
been
come.
really-
We're going to be coming to your lake house soon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a retreat and after COVID.
Just so you know, after COVID, whenever that may be, 2025. So,
and I think I think the other thing is that, you know, I've looked at, you know, like people look at in terms of like, you know, lowering your prices because of COVID, right? And you cannot be going backwards, right? So what I've looked at doing is like, how can I help more people, even if they can't afford to work with me as their coach? Like I have my Optimize Your Business in Your Life Facebook group that every Wednesday I offer free coaching in there, right? So it's not like you can't get help. Like you can come every week and ask a question and I will help you.
Right.
So I think that's something that I've really gone full bore with this year.
Got it, right. Yeah, I get that. But other than your clients, I was really looking for people outside of clients, right? Or outside of your business who, you know, the mentoring of somebody else other than just in general, right?
I think, you know, I have 3 girls, right? So I have a stepdaughter who's 26, just started her first job in a law firm. I have my daughter who's 17, just started college, and a 12-year-old, right? And I think this is like a really crucial time in their development because they're able to see that they need to design what they want in their life, right? And
because you've been a mentor as a mom, you've designed your life, right? So then they automatically see that they can design their own life too.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think the society wants to put you in a box of like, this is the way it has to be. And I'm like, there's people all over the world, whether they're a lawyer, whether they're, you know, like my 17-year-old doesn't like school. It's not easy for her. And I'm like, there's millions of things that you can do that aren't, you know, school related, that aren't, you know, in this box. And so I think that's really been, and I see with my niece too, that she's like, you inspire me to like go what I want and like step out of this box.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I love hearing, that you're inspiring other people outside the just, you know, immediate family and things like that, because that's really what it's about, I think. So real quickly, Miss Rissy, I'm going to start a quote here and go back to the mentorship conversation, right? And this is Ayn Rand. Obviously you see a lot of powerful females today. Ayn Rand. All you have to do is look straight and see the road. And when you see it, don't sit looking at it, walk. You know it's for you.
Yes. Yeah. Did you pick that just for me?
I did.
Like, you gotta start walking, girl.
I did. These boots aren't made for walking. If I had a producer, I would tell him to sing that. So tell me about mentorship and who's like your mentor right now, and maybe someone you're mentoring.
So there's been so many mentors that have appeared in my life, especially this last year. But I would say the biggest influence that's been in my life consistently over the last few years have been Ben and Suzanne Patwa. And they're my coaches that I've learned breakthrough facilitation through. So hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and NLP. And just the way that they've kind of weaved things together. But they've been through every stage of my development. And then the tribe of women that have appeared. Like I absolutely have stepped into a new version of myself, the best version of myself that really believes that, you know, I used to be an independent woman and now I am an interdependent woman with a 5-year-old that's trying to be on camera right now. I'm like, I saw Carrie side eye just a minute ago. She's making faces. I'm like, I feel your pain. It's about to happen right now. It's my 5-year-old son.
She keeps wanting to play. She wants to play Thumb War, so she's like, I can't wait any longer.
I've been so patient.
2 more minutes.
Yeah, but this whole idea of being interdependent, you know, interdependent on the beautiful tribe of women that have stepped up into my life to mentor me, to nurture me, to support me. And
no. Her son cut off.
I get to do that for them as well. Sorry. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. I get to be there for them as well. And it's been a beautiful thing. And you have been a big part of that tribe of women for me and helping to push me and mentor me as well. And I hope I've been that for you too. But all you ladies, I'm so grateful for our mastermind that we have. And and just the connection and the allowing ourselves to receive the love and support from new places, right? And the knowledge sharing, I think, is so invaluable. And somebody I'm mentoring, it's got to be my son, my 5-year-old son. I think there's one thing that COVID has taught me is just to really where I want to focus my attention and who I want to focus my attention, with, and spend my time with, share my time. So I've been a lot more careful about who I spend my time with, and just put my attention back on mentoring my son, and being there for him, and being an example, and also just being available to the people that reach out to me with questions, and so yeah, that would be it for me.
Well, you've been a mentor to me, and you know that very much. Of course, of course, all of y'all have been mentors to me. So I just want to acknowledge that. So just wrapping this up, I just wanted to kind of wrap up my mentors that, sometimes they're live, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're in our life every day, and sometimes they're not. Believe it or not, a mentor for me has someone who I don't talk to every day. Obviously, her name is Martha Stewart. Right. And so I met her in November 2019 and at an event, and my meeting with her has been transformational for me, because when everything happened in March 2020, I've actually changed my entire business based on starting to be based on something that she said. So I think that sometimes mentors are not always maybe through a book, too. It's or someone we watched online. So and all of y'all have been mentors, and and I've learned from each and every one of you, and hopefully give as much as I receive back. That's my intention. So I love all of you. I'm going to start crying. But I wanted to finish this up with just this round of another quote. And that's about change. There's 2 quotes, actually. One's kind of funny. I think it's cute. It's by Marlo Thomas, which is an actress. Where will I be in 5 years from now? I delight in not knowing. I love that. Another one, this is by Gilda Radner. She's a comedian. She's no longer here on this planet. I wanted a perfect ending. Now I've learned the hard way that some poems don't rhyme and some stories don't have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment and making the best of it without knowing what's going to happen next. I think that's 2 beautiful quotes of just kind of what I've learned in the last 6 months, if not last 2 months, is really leaning into unknowing, like really being okay with the unknown, and really being okay with just go in the moment and lean into higher self, and a new direction, a new door opens up. The more I lean back, the more I allow myself to just receive versus plan. Because like so many, everything that I had planned for 2020, the moment all this happened, gone. And that's done. So it's been, even just doing this event, doing this roundtable, leaning into the mastermind that I've created, really just leaning into what's calling, what's opening up. And another thing that I've learned recently from a mentor coach is stop building, because that's a word we use in our work, build a business, right? Stop building and start birthing. I was like, there's just something so cool about that, right? Build a business. Like, what about birthing a life, birthing a business where you birth something and then you nurture it and you grow it, right? And I don't know, there's something about that I feel like that's what this year is about. This year is about birthing new life, birthing new friendships, birthing new ideas. And instead of building on them, like creating more feminine energy to it, which is birthing and then nurturing something, right? So until it's ready to walk on its own and have its own Zoom calls by itself. Right?
Oh gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
Until one day it drives. So I just want to honor each and every one of you and just go quickly back around, just last words and giving something. If you want to give something to someone, you can, or hope, or last ideas. But just before I do that, just thank you, each and every one of you, for being here last minute. I each reached out to you very last minute last week because it was an idea I had. So thank you very much. Make sure everyone reaches out to each one of these beautiful ladies at their websites. So as we go back around, just, give any kind of last words, and welcome to give your website as well. So I'll start with you, Annabelle.
Sure. One of the things that I've been doing lately, and I highly recommend, is journaling. So I started journaling maybe 3-4 years ago. And recently in my daily journaling, I'll go back and I'll reference what I've journaled years ago. And it's really cool to be living in my future of 2017, right? Like, I've already accomplished the fact that I'm a professional copywriter now. I've already accomplished the fact that I'm working remotely with several clients, right? And it's really cool to, as you figure out where you're going, just acknowledge how far you've already come.
Yeah.
So to anyone watching, definitely take note of what your journey has been, where you've come from and where you're going. Yeah.
And your website, or how they get a hold of you?
My website, yeah. If you'd like to learn more about myself and copywriting, especially if you have an online course, you can visit me at www.prosperamarketing.com.
Good job. Awesome. Miss Carrie.
Okay. I would say, for me, the last thing that I would say is trust your heart. I think that was probably the biggest thing that I really had to not listen to all the noise and trust your heart. And then when you trust your heart, follow through with it. Don't let your head take you out of the game.
I love that.
Yeah. And then for me, they can find me a couple places, but I would say right now you can go, if you're interested in any type of branding or anything like that, you can visit brandingwithcarrie.com, and we have a lot of cool things on there right now.
Awesome. Yes, I do. brandingwithcarrie.com. Yes. Riss.
All right. Well, for me, I love Carrie's Trust Your Heart, because for me, it really is about empowering ourselves to take action and just to get up and start doing it. If there's anything that I got from 2020, it was, we have right now. So just do it now, and once we decide it's going to be different, the support appears. So make a decision. It's going to be different. And I would love to also invite you to try breathwork, or to come and participate in a breathwork circle. I do it every Wednesday night. It's at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can find me on Facebook, the Lioness Method group. It's a private group, and I can add you if you find me on there. And I also share some trainings in there, and our breathwork circle for ladies. So join us. I'd love to have you.
I'm there too. You'll be breathing with me.
Awesome.
All right. And Miss Stace, last words, and where can they find you?
Yeah, I think what 2020 has really taught me is to go, as much as I love to be strategic and planning and all of that, is to go with the inspired action. So there's going to be things like you ladies have said, there's more quiet time, there's time to breathe, we're walking by ourselves. What is it Rapid Profit Booster, doing it again came to me while I was, in the shower, okay, I need to do this again. And it was I didn't know how I was going to pull it off so quickly. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but it was just keep following those inspired hits that feel good to you. Because if you're forcing, right now in 2020 is hard enough without forcing on your business, right? So go forward and go towards the things that excite you and get you happy and inspired. And that way you can make a difference to more people. And to find me, you can go to stacyhylen.com, HYLEN. And I also have a Facebook group, Optimize Your Business and Your Life. So you're welcome to join me in there. And I'm everywhere on social media at stacyhylen as well.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Stace. And also just want to again, thank you so much, everyone, being here. And thank you for your time, energy, and effort, and your energy in this, because the intention of this first Female Influencer Roundtable is really to give back. So I'm just curious, do y'all think I should do another one of these? Did y'all enjoy this?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
so
this is fun.
I think it was fun versus like one interview. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to end with a quick little quote. Let's see, I have any more quotes? I think I did them all. Oh my God, did I do them all? Oh, well.
We have to post them because they were all so good.
They were really
great.
good. I know.
Yeah, post them for everybody.
So I have here, this is one that's, I'll just end with this. You are here to birth a new world, and that looks entirely different from the world you live in now. The only blueprint for what you are here to do, birth, exists within your soul's own heart womb.
Amazing.
I know, right?
That's beautiful.
Perfect.
It really is, Phil. So thank you, ladies, so much. I'm going to end the broadcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Whoever's listening, please share this with friends, family, and tag somebody if you're listening to on iHeartRadio. I'm going to be actually posting this into iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Google Play. You can find me at heatherhavenwood.com. My podcast is heatherhavenwood.com/uncaged. All right, guys. Talk soon.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.